Insomnia Cartel.
Like wine. Hi. 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 Have you ever been a joint and you know it? Have you ever had to flip your unemployment?
What I'm gonna say. So for number 2, I'm gonna have to give it to a conglomerate of videos. It's my season 1 finale. That's my favorite episode, which it says on the first one, it says finale part 1 of 3, right? Mm-hmm. However, it ended up being 4 parts. And I can break that down to you and tell you why. Yeah, there was one before that other one. Go over. Sorry, guys. Yeah, that one. That's the first one right there. You know, it was a 4-part series because I wanted to break down some things towards the end. I had a lot of ideas, and for me, my biggest challenge sometimes is making everything fit within a certain time limit, right?
Yeah,
it's almost like rapping. I got so much to say, you know. So that was the challenge at the beginning. I was like, hey, why don't I just do parts? So I decided to do, interesting enough, this episode 16, I had to do part 1 and part 2. And when you see me do part 1s and part 2s, that means it was all one episode. And when I was editing it, I had to separate it because it was getting too long. So then that's when I'm like, all right, part 2. And then it's not going to come on with my intro, if you notice it, but in the second part of this episode, you might hear me say, oh, I think it's going to be a part 2, because I know when I'm recording it, like, all right, this is too long. But yeah, this part, I felt like I was coming into my own as the character.
Okay, why you say that?
So the first part episode that you're looking at was really all about him investing. So we had stored up all this money. We've been doing these licks, we've been robbing people and all this kind of shit, selling drugs. And I'm like, man, I got all this money, and I use a dirty money system. So just like real world, like you can't just spend a bunch of money and nobody know where the money come from. You know what I'm saying? But that's when I was like, okay, he gonna start investing his money into getting businesses, right? So I invested into the auto shop with Hayes, which was came with another shop, which I introduced. Also, that's another reason why I like these episodes, because I'm introducing Hayes as a character, right? I've mentioned him up until this point, but it's just me dropping my car off, picking it up. So yeah, that was one of the biggest things. I was investing, and then also the first episode to me, I critique my own shit. The first part was a little boring, but the main thing I was trying to do in that was I was just moving my cars, man. Frank got a lot of cars. For one person, 5, 6 cars, that's a lot of cars. So I was like, let me drive multiple cars in my episode, you know what I mean? To kind of give it that feel. And then he picked up the old school that you might have just seen, the old Rust Bucket, which was my first, fix me up car, right? So also, like I said, I have different mods that's just chilling. I got a lot of cars in my game that I ain't brought out. And it gives me a chance to switch from this car to this car. I just be trying to make shit make sense for real. So that was another thing that I got to move all my cars. But if you would, DJ, if you would go to the part 2 episode though, and this is really going to bring it into more of what made it like my favorite. Part of my favorite. Yeah, that one. So
You sound like Terrence Howard.
Man.
Hey,
yeah,
man, if you could
I sent
just
you the emails in the file, man.
2, man.
Now, the other files.
Go to the very first video. There's 4 in a row on it. Oh, that's how it came up to you. Well, let's see which one this is. This is 4 of them that's going to come together.
It's conspiracy, man. They ain't want you to get it, man. But if you know, you know. shout out to my real fans and shout out to my future fans. So, you know, go get on it. I'm going to post a link to this video because there was a character back then. His name was Sean. He was my underling, you know what I mean? Up and coming YN. And in this scene right here, me and Sean, we did some licks and we on the way to do some more licks. He's my drug dealer, you know. But shout out to Gaming with Quint, man, because he always mention it and we always laugh and joke about it. But these videos be unpredictable, man. You might plan for something to happen, but AI is a motherfucker. Tell you. Shit happen and you don't, you know, and you always got a choice. Either I can redo this whole shit. Trust me, there's been episodes I redid the whole shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't like the outcome. But right here, Shine caught a bullet and he didn't come back from it. And I just had to, you know, roll with it, bro. I think that was like one of my best performances based on it, right? And it's funny because I watch it myself a lot. And at the end of the video, my voice is different, nigga. Like, I was really, my mind had like, what the fuck am I gonna do now?
Yeah,
because right there where it blacks out, what literally happened was I was driving away and the car disappeared. So then I didn't have a car and niggas just ran up and shot me and I died. You know what I'm saying? But it was because of the game malfunction, right? But I just, you know, I made it do what it do. But also I decided, like, you know, we talked about it. I was like, Sean ain't really dead. Sean gonna come back. To be honest with you, I would pull up my game right now. I have Sean in a building in the country, in a room, on some Walking Dead shit. Like the character, he's still in my game to this day. He's in my game, bro. I have not taken him out. And it's like,
hey man, you gotta let Shine go, bro. He's in a better place, you know.
Facts, yo.
You gotta just loose him and let him go. It's so hard to say goodbye, but it's alright. It's alright.
Oh man, yo, nah, real talk, bro. Like Sean is in a cellar. But you know, I decided to flip this whole thing, man, and I did the, you know, I was shouting out the gun violence and gun safety and just spitting out facts, man. Like I said, because I got kids, and I know how GTA comes off. But hey, moment of silence. There was 3 at one point, right there on the screen.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? There was a fallen one of us between us two. You know what I'm saying? Our brother, and I just decided to dedicate it to him, bro. You know, real nigga shit. I just took that moment. I was like, yo, what's a better moment than to dedicate it to my nigga who, just like my nigga here, always believed in me and pushed for me to do the things that, you know, I always wanted to try and do. So, you know, I decided to include him. But
R.I.P. Coop.
Yo, R.I.P. Coop, man. You already know. But at the same time, you know, I'm getting in my bag with I use the voices from Menace to Society, my favorite movie of all time. When you know, Kane got shot at the end and they was trying to, you know, keep him alive and all this, that, and the third. So this is when he got shot, when they shot his cousin and they took him to the hospital. It's like, bitch, fuck the form.
What is that
Yo, give us some motherfucking got.
You have to fill out these forms first. Bitch, fuck the form. We need a doctor. He's bleeding to death over there.
But, you know, I use that as a background to show, like, we in the hospital with Sean. You know, Sean popped up, you know, whatever. And it's funny because, like I said, once again, you can hear the aggression in my voice. Immediately when I get back to my car, I was like, nah, we got to go slide on this nigga. Like, I was like, ain't nothing going to bring him back. But just for me, even though it's a video game, I had to go kill a baller because they had just killed my nigga. Like, let's go, man. About to stretch this nigga, man. Bitch ass niggas, man. Yeah, we about to kill my nigga. Like, in this.
Nah, I remember you called me after the episode crying, man. I was like, what, you alright, bro?
You stupid, yo.
Like, nah.
I could have cried, big face, nigga. If somebody would have stepped on my pinky toe, bro, I might would have dropped a tear. Like, you know, just took the aggression out on them type shit. But yeah, man, shout out to Shine, bro. R.I.P. that man. And
Hey man, and when you get a chance, man, go on your game, go to the barn, man, and just
nah, you know
Walking
what?
Dead style, man. Just
I've been doing these videos lately where I just, shout out to Leon Marley, man. If you ain't got a car from Leon Marley, look at my description of my videos. I post his links in the Discord. I use the Dunk from the latest one on 30s, 32, sitting stupid up. He made that car. But he does streams. And he might not get a lot of views on the stream. He's just showcasing his cars. But he does it in a way where he's just playing music, riding around, playing the game. And for some reason, I love that concept. So I did a video recently, Big Frank Dog. And once again, I don't do these videos like hoping all my videos get 1 million views. I literally did that video for myself. I had pre-recorded that months ago. And I just decided to put it out because it was fun to me to do it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I just like playing my game, without a storyline. So I took from, like I said, shout out Leon Marley, man. I'm going to give you 100% credit for that because, I be in your lives. I fuck with your videos, dog. And I decided, I was like, man, I'm going to start just doing these from time to time. So I'm going to do another one of those. It's going to be plenty more of those, but one of those, I'm going to pick up Sean for y'all. And Sean going to be riding around with me, and we going to be thugging in the video. You know what I'm saying? We might call it zombie mode, you know what I mean? But I don't know. We're going to get it in, but yeah, he's still there, man. And to be honest, last but not least, I got off a little bit off topic. This actual episode, one of the things I liked about it the most was the ending scene. I call up Lamar. If you familiar with the game GTA itself, when you call Lamar to hang up, to hang out, certain things happen. I called up Lamar to hang out, and it was just kind of platonic with the episode. Up until this point, I had planned out the 3 parts of the finale. I'm gonna get into the last part of it, but in the beginning of the last part, I got kidnapped. So in my mind, I had planned the kidnapping to happen in front of the Tequila La. It's a bar. When you get to the end of it, that's where me and Lamar ended up going to, and it went off. We drinking in the Tequila La. My original plan for Franklin being kidnapped was him to be kidnapped outside of the Tequila La because he was hanging with Lamar, right? But because Sean had died, it really made my whole next episode different. Like, that whole episode came out of nowhere. That's why
you were still grief stricken.
Yeah, I was. And that's why it started off being part 1 of 3, but it was 4 parts. You know what I'm saying? So now that made sense because that was a whole extra episode that wasn't even supposed to be. But yeah, notice another thing I just want to point out. Notice that I hadn't really dealt with Lamar since this scene, to be honest. Me as a person, once again, it's an introduction to Nate Deuce Gaming. I'm Nate Deuce, of course. You already know. But my favorite character in GTA was Lamar. Is Lamar, right? So Lamar is something that I kind of like. I'm not gonna say hold dear to me, but I like his character to be how he is. So when I'm doing these AI voices, a lot of these voices is Caucasian voices. I don't know if you noticed. It'd be a lot of.
Yeah, I noticed. yeah.
I know it's hard to notice, man. I do it so good.
No, they sound like real niggas back there, man.
Yeah,
real authentic. Like.
That's what I was hoping. Yeah, like I got a microphone in the project, but but nah. So this is a big reveal too. So with Lamar, he's a nigga to the fullest, man. If you ever watch it, I sent you some clips. Like Lamar's a nigga. So I couldn't have these voices. So with this, it was actual Lamar's voice from the game, so I fucked with it. But the next time which Lamar is coming out, hint, you know what I'm saying? Next episode, the intro is gonna be Lamar. And for my vocals for Lamar, I have a volunteer. And you're looking at him right there, you know what I'm saying? DJ Bruce Wayne on the 1s and 2s.
Yeah.
You already know, man.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about that, man. I get to get into my acting chops. I get to be a real deal you know, cocoa butter
Hey man,
ass nigga. You know what I mean?
put them acting skills to use. Don't act like you ain't. You know, we ain't gonna talk about it.
Yeah, no, they gonna see.
But
They
you know,
gonna hear.
you've been taught how to act. But nah, on some real shit though. So you know, I talked with him and he was like, "Hey, let me do Lamar," and that's where we at with it now. So that's why Lamar hadn't been out because I didn't feel right putting those. I want to say some things, but we on TV, so putting those voices with Lamar, it just didn't match. So that ending scene to me, it was pretty good the way I wanted to end it. I didn't want to end it like that, but it was the best ending to it. With like I said, Sean being killed, I didn't foresee that. But outside of that, yeah, all in all, them two videos was pretty special to me together, which was one video really. And then the next one, yeah, the big Frank dog. You know, Franklin gets revenge. Um, yeah, it's not that one. My fault. No, it is that. It is that one. It is that one. I'm sorry. Franklin gets revenge because in this episode, I went back, doubled back, and got the old Project Donk to do my dirty in. You know what I'm saying? But that one just kind of popped up because for one, I can't just let Sean got killed, bro. I'm just gonna let that shit slide.
My nigga got
I'm tripping on this shit.
We gotta spend the block, bro.
Y'all look at the dates between them videos being dropped. I was tripping for a long time.
He was in the house. He wouldn't come outside. He was underneath the blankets.
Bruh, I was sleeping there. I'm in there like Snoop with my knife and my fork, nigga, under the blanket. Like,
I walk to the back of the plane, give me a blanket, grab me a knife and a fork, put the blanket over my nose right here, my little black glasses on, and ride like this the whole flight, hoping one of them come with me so I can stab out everybody on this mother.
Blanket, like
we gotta, drop food outside the door, just hoping he come out.
And we ain't talking about DoorDash. I'm calling my friends to drop, like, hey, knock on the door, take a picture, send it to me. But nah, like, for real, it changed my whole outlook. But outside of that, once again, like I said, I always plan my shit way in advance. I had planned to do a Nipsey dedication episode around either his birthday or his death. And I don't fuck with death as something to celebrate. You feel what I'm saying? So I'd rather celebrate his birth than his death. And just so happened, as I'm in the middle of contemplating my next episode, I realized this date is coming up. And it really, honestly, y'all, I think I recorded this on his birthday and dropped it on his birthday, just to let you know how much I was scrambling to get this shit done, right? Because I was about to miss the cutoff date. Like, if his birthday is gone, you look up the dates. It's months before he actually died. So I was like, man, I've been waiting to get this off. I'm about to use, and the donk that I used in there and the mural that we put on the wall was two mods that I had been holding since I decided to start the Big Frank Dog episodes. And that's just being honest with everybody. Like I said it in one of my posts, the Nipsey Hussle dunk was like the second car I modded in my game from when I started modding. So I had been holding that shit for a long time. And I had to mix them together because of the timing of it and what had just happened. So it took extra time for me to be like, okay, how can I bring in Nipsey, make it make sense along with getting revenge for Sean? And then there was a mod that I came across, which is this kidnapping mod, which, if you watched the video before, or if you're looking at it right now on the screen, this is where I really brought in that first part to it, where you can kidnap the person. Hey, shout out to the, people who used it, you know who you are. We ain't got to talk about it. And I already DM'd you and congratulated you because I look for people to do, you know what I'm saying? So, but there's a mod that I use there. It's two mods that I use there. There's two separate mods that I kind of made it look together. But yeah, making it work, it was one of those things where it was like I had to try to make it work, So that was a challenge all in itself. Like I said, being on this crunch deadline of like I need to get this video out today, or it's not gonna make sense because it's not Nipsey's birthday anymore. So this is really one of those honestly like under pressure, working under pressure episodes where I felt like the situation made a great video. But yeah, shout out to P. If you watch me on the video I put out, actually, this is ironic. You play this music. The video I put out recently, LS Red, when I'm riding around as the baller and I'm playing your mixes, I was actually this character. I was P. So in my game, I modded in P to test my mods. And, I just thought it would be ironic because Big Frank Dog killed him. So I was like, fuck it, why not bring him into the fold? You know what I'm saying? So just a little nugget for y'all that care. You know what I mean? I be doing things. I be thinking. But like I said, yeah, that was the biggest thing. And then outside of that, the music, honestly. This is another episode, Chris, where, sorry, DJ Bruce Wayne, my fault.
Come on, man. You can't be telling my secret identity and shit.
Yeah. My fault,
you
nigga.
good, bro.
But this is another episode where I didn't use your music, and the music is all actual Nipsey Hussle instrumental beats from songs that I like. You know what I'm saying? So I know that's something that everybody might not catch, but I really fuck with Nipsey. You know what I'm saying? So that's some real shit. Just like I really fuck with the big, you know what I'm saying? Big Flipper. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna call him the Big Flipper because I said we're gonna call Big Frank Dog Little Flipper. But that's where I get Paper Route Frank from, Young Dolph. Everybody know that, man. You know what I'm saying? RP that man. And these are just two people that I, idolize. So I decided to do an ode to him. Maybe one day some more mods will come out where I can do an ode to, Dolph. And that's, that's real. And hopefully, they do the Dog Man, DMX. Anybody know me? No, that's my nigga. So, but that's what made that one special. And then, like I said, the finale, the trio, or the quadruple. The last episode, the finale itself, man, I was pretty much, I ain't gonna lie to you, I ain't scared of nothing, but I was scared to do this because I didn't know how I was gonna do it. Once again, this freestyling shit where I can't see it, you know what I mean? I just gotta sit down and get in the lab and try to make it. And man, that junk came out, it came out pretty good. Just starting off, from the gate. To me, the intro scene just says it all, right? So for one, the main part about it that makes it one of my favorites is this was the very first episode that I actually used the cinematics. And this is when I learned how to use the cinematics. A lot of this shit is self-taught, bro. I don't know if you can relate. As far as, when you DJing, man, you feel like sometimes you gotta, learn something from others and bring it back to the,
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Now, you got to be a student of the game. You got to, not be so into yourself that you can't learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But a lot of it is, try and fail and hours of just, trying shit.
Hours, bro. I wish you can put a capital on the the hours, bro.
Hours.
But, doing this scene right here that starts it off, bro, it was like, man, because I had always seen it, and I'm like, how do niggas do this? I really had no idea. And I literally just typed in cinematic GTA, and I learned everything I learned since then from that, which, moving forward, we'll talk about, I ended up doing almost a whole movie like that. Yeah, this nigga look flamboyant as hell when I grabbed his head. I said,
Hold on, bro. Hold on, let me rewind that.
Facts, nigga, go back. Because I seen it, and I'm like, bro, that's just
I
what
never
it looked
noticed
like.
that before.
That's just what it looked like,
That
bro.
nigga look like, oh no. Oh, please stop. His legs kicked off the ground. No, please. Where's he reaching to, nigga?
Oh, nigga.
Bruh.
Somebody outside, man.
Big Frank ain't look the most P right there, but it's alright.
Nah.
I know you ain't have nothing to do with
like
it.
a prison victim. But man, yo, that's the mob, bro. So I recorded like 3 different times, and I did different shots from it, man. Like I do that a lot. But working with that and then putting more of the cinematic voice in. Like I said, the first one I had done was the Menace to Society scene when Sean got killed. So then in this episode, I did the whole conversation. Even at the end of that scene, right? I'd use something from a movie where they was talking in Spanish. Shout out to my, Hispanics out there who would have understood that scene. It was from a movie, but he was talking about the boss needs you and this, that, and it goes with the scene. Trust me. If you got a translator, you can see it. But yeah, that's how deep I went with it, right? To this point where I'm introducing the Madrazo cartel, because on my end, thinking as a drug dealer might think, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the drug dealer's goal? To get to the plug. You know what I'm saying?
Get to the plug.
Get to the plug. So all this, shout out to all the content creators once again, everybody using Z and this, that, and the third. That's cool. But, in real life, Z ain't the nigga. You know what I mean? Z is the nigga between you and the nigga. So, let's up it up a notch. Let's go up the chain of the food ladder. And we just gonna show you the real. Like, this is coming straight from over the borders. And one of the things I wanted to point out with this, for one, I always try to keep everything kind of congruent with the actual GTA story. So in the actual game, Mondrazo's nephew does start working with the feds and you end up having to kill him. Trevor kills him. If you know, you know. But Javier is his nephew in the game. So like I said, I wanted to have the same sense of the actual storyline, but also I wanted to show the ruthlessness of the cartel. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ever watch any of that, let's just say
they don't play
National Geographics on the the hood of Mexico. They don't play, like you said, bro. They go to the extreme to make examples and to put fear in your heart. And whoever, I feel like this is a real how it would happen. We're gonna bring you into the fold. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna kill my kinfolk, and then I'm gonna say, hey, you got the job, but don't play with me. You know what I mean? So I constructed the whole conversation in that light, and the whole scene came about. So that's, one of the things I really love. This was my breakout as far as me trying to get into that bag. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, after I did it, I was scared of it. I didn't do it again for a while. You remember I told you, I was like, season 2 is going to be me just having fun doing me.
Right.
And not worrying about what I think what people want to see in this and the third. Like, it was a thing, yo. It was a thing. But to be honest, you can see the difference in my views in season 1 and season 2. That's a whole different conversation. But I really thoroughly enjoyed making this episode as well. Another reason I like this episode so much, I mentioned it in the episode. That's when I came out and told people I used to sell cars, or I was selling cars. I can't remember if I was still doing it or not at this time. But we both used to work at separate Subaru dealerships, right? Yep. And I remember he was selling cars before I was, and years before I was, and he was always at the Subaru lot, and I was at a different kind of lot, and we had got a WRX. And my manager was like, hey, take this up the street to such and such. Like I said, you get to drive all kind of cars. And I hopped in that thing, man, and that junk threw me to the seat. And I called this nigga immediately on the job. I was like, hey, why the fuck you didn't tell me these WRXs was fast like this? Like,
I couldn't drive stick at the time. I ain't know.
Yo, you could drive, nigga.
Nah, that's I'll be honest. Not fast.
I got you.
I could drive it in first.
True, you couldn't hit no Fast and Furious.
I could park it.
Yeah. Nah, that's being real. So yeah, I hopped in and I fell in love with it, man. And then when I was selling them, trust me, I was in love with them for real. Like, I still want to buy one. Anybody out there got one they want to, talk about, hit me hit me up. But anyway, that was another reason, because I'm using this WRX that I love so much as my getaway car and stuff like that. And then outside of that, that's when honestly I missed something on the last You know, one of the other finales, the last episode, that's when I formally introduced and gave you a visual for Hayes, right? But this one, Hayes said like 2 words in that last episode, but this one, Hayes actually had a piece apart. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the real John Hayes. Once again, I kind of named the character after my brother-in-law. You know what I'm saying? And he really, do you think he looked like J. Cole?
He does.
That's why, you know, I don't want to act like I'm putting on like, oh, he look like J. Cole, because that nigga somewhere gloating right now. Trust me, huge J. Cole fan. So every time I say that, I hate to say it, but I showed him. I'm gonna just say this: I showed my nephew a picture of J. Cole, and he said, "Is that my daddy?" So I was like, "Hey, that's all I need to know right there." He's like, "Yo, is that my daddy?" It's like, "Yeah, you would think, but it's not." So you know. Shout out to him, but I really got to showcase him in this episode too, and that was something that I had wanted to get off. I contemplated on bringing him as a character to life for a few episodes, and then I finally did it, and I was like, let me give him a part. So, you know, as you can see now, he's become a bigger part of the show. And then that was my first bank robbery. You know, like I said, coming from playing online you have a lot of different heists, and every time they update, it's because they put in a new DLC, which is another heist. And then you got to buy something in order to get the tools to do the heist. But doing the bank jobs, it's fun as hell. So this was my first actual bank job heist in there, and it was a small one. I picked it for a reason. I came at it from the perspective of the Big Frank dog at this time, right? In different locations, he had over $1 million. Mm-hmm. But it's just like somebody saying he's worth X amount of money. Like, yeah, you might be worth that, but how much of that money is liquid? How much of that money can you touch right now and hand it off? So I was really trying to, once again, bring that realism to it as far as he needed the money within 24 hours and how you going to get it. So when it came down to it, I got a couple $100,000 out of the business account, but everything else I had to scramble for. It was like, let me do this, let me do this, let me do this. And, you know, we picked it up little by little, and we got to the $1 million. I'm going to be honest, as I made the episode, I didn't know how I was going to get the $1 million. That's just how.
Off the dome.
Yeah. You know, like I said, I try to keep it, we call it keeping it RP. Keep it RP, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible, and I thought that was a good aspect of it, too. Whereas, you know, I could have easily just had $1 million. You know, but we robbed the bank, and then guess what? We didn't get $1 million from the lick. So that was the first thing that I wanted to, like, throw off the, what they call, you know, you throw off the,
I think you're trying to say, like, plot twist?
Yeah, it's a word for it, but you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a plot twist, though.
Sure. I know you want a bigger word. You know, you want more sophisticated.
You know?
It'll come to you.
But, you know, yeah. You know the words I'm looking for. The dynamic shift. Or whatever. Paradigm shift. There we go. Hey, shout out to those.
Paradigm shift.
Give me some, yeah. Paradigm shift. But,
Sesame Street.
Just something to break the monotony, you know what I mean? But, yeah, that was this episode here. And then, you know, I know it's been a long time since you actually asked the question. But what I'm answering is my favorite 3 episodes.
Yeah, I forgot.
Right. My last but not least, my most successful video to date. And appreciate all y'all who tuned in. Everybody who watched it, like, comment, anything, man. I really, really can't express, like, the appreciation for it. But the Big Frank Dog movie, man, I'm going to just call it the first one of the movie series because it's going to be more. But, you know, the last thing I dropped as far as the Big Frank Dog is concerned